That's right. No, I know.
To keep the right hand on your heart. Please play the ICI motto.
य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति कामं पुरुषो निर्विमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तद्ब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यपि कश्चन एतद्वैता
Respected faculty, for the first session, Advocate Anandodaya Mishra ji. Good evening, sir. The coordinators for today's session, CA Dheeraj Duggar and CA RN Mohil ji. The coordinators for the series, CA Rajendra ji Nagar and CA Mayank Jain, who is also faculty for today's session, and Advocate Arushi Vyas, who helped us coordinate this session, and all the participants. A very good evening to all of you, and welcome to the last session of this very interesting series. And we got a very good response for the entire series. And today we have two very important topics. First, regarding all about setting up an AIF in the GIFT city, and second, on the opportunities for inbound and outbound investment through India's first international exchange. I think with this, we'll be wrapping up our first ever series on GIFT city. And I can also see Mayank ji joining in. Good evening, Mayank ji.
Good evening, Ritesh ji. Good evening. Good evening, Ajit ji, Nagar sir.
Thank you, sir. So I think
And
we
our
have,
eminent speaker, sir.
yes, we have actually got a very good response from all the participants. And post this session, we would also like to have a physical visit planned for all the members. So I think we will be sending an email from branch, so those who are interested can let us know. With this, I think I should also tell you that this is perhaps the last session of as a CP chairman committee, as a CPE seminar for me as a chairman, and I am very happy that this series is ending on a very high note. I would like to thank all of you, and just a simple announcement. This year we could have 201 CPE programs. So 201 days were there for the CPE seminars, with more than 1,40,000 CP hours, which is a record in itself. So I would like to share this on the last day with all of you. And again, yes, apart from the awards and everything, again, very important that you are really focused on the technical stuff. So thank you so much for all your support throughout the year. I would now request CA Dheeraj Duggar to introduce today's faculty for the first session. Thank you.
The honored faculty, Mr. Anandodaya Mishra, is a litigation and arbitration practicing advocate. He has a advocate on record in Gujarat High Court at Ahmedabad. He regularly appears in High Court of Gujarat, Bombay High Court, and other high courts of India. He is also appearing in Supreme Court of India. He has experience of litigation, arbitration, and advisory for more than 2 decades in diversified areas. It includes initial couple of years in biggest corporates of India. He has led diversified legal assignments in various laws in the last 2 decades. His focus areas of practice are arbitration, domestic, and international laws as well. He appears not only in Indian courts but also international arbitration seated in India, Singapore, UAE, Hong Kong, and London. He has authorized the book GST Law and Procedure for Taxation. He is presently authoring books IPC and Arbitration each. He has written hundreds of exhaustive and well-researched white papers on various areas of law. He is a regular speaker at various forums, conferences, and meets on GST, arbitration, contracts, IPR, IBC, etc. He founded AM Legals, a full-service law firm, with a motto, give justice to the case in hand first before court grants justice. Strategy matters the most in every litigation. So this was the introduction of our honored speaker, Mr. Anandodaya Mishra. So we would be glad to hear him now.
Welcome, sir. I would request all of you to give us a virtual round of applause, sir, for our esteemed faculty. Thank you, sir.
I'm grateful to all of you, and really grateful that this effort needed, as the topic itself is very important, especially due to the COVID. There are a lot of business dynamics which have changed, and the amongst was, of course, AIF is one of the thing. In addition to SPAC, I think all must be aware about SPAC also. So today is not a topic of SPAC, but you can find a lot of details on our website, AM Legals. So to start with, on particularly on so I will just share my slide and I will take it through.
I think they're having some technical issue. It seems like.
Yes, the slide has not been shared. Can you please do me a favor? I think my office has already shared the slide. If you can run it.
Sir, let me just check it. You cannot share the screen right now.
Oh no, there is a problem. I don't know what is the issue.
Okay, Shazad bhai.
Right दो ना.
Yeah,
हाँ,
Shazad
yes sir,
bhai.
yes sir, yes sir.
Shraddha sir is
मैंने
giving the
आपको
right
एक
side.
मेल किया है अभी.
हाँ
You please share that PPT ना.
सर, राइट्स किसको देना है शेयरिंग के?
हाँ.
शेयरिंग राइट्स किसको देना सर?
शेयरिंग राइट्स मिश्रा जी को दीजिए ना. मिश्रा जी को.
मिश्रा जी को ऑलरेडी दिया हुआ है सर.
हाँ, उनके वहाँ पे कोई इशू हो रहा है, तो मैंने आपको मेल किया. आप एक बार स्क्रीन शेयर कीजिए ना.
ओके सर,
जस्ट सेंड यू एन ईमेल.
ओके. हेलो धीरज सर. हेलो धीरज सर. हाँ सर.
परमिशन दिया हुआ है मेरे को. शरद भाई. शरद भाई.
यस सर, जस्ट डाउनलोडिंग द ईमेल.
या इन द मीन टाइम एक बार आप सर को होस्ट बना के भी देखो ना, अगर उससे होता हो तो.
आनंद सर को जस्ट अ सेकंड सर.
हाँ हाँ.
वेट सर, ही इज होस्ट नाउ.
He is host. I think Arushi, now we can try now. I think if you can see if it works. Arushi, you can try now if it works.
Arushi Vyas is co-host now. Now she can share screen.
Arushi, you are also the host. If you can also try now.
Hello. No voice. No voice.
Sir, we are just starting in a minute. I think there's some issue with the screen share. Please wait for a minute. I think now it is visible.
Yes sir, I'm sharing the screen.
You are sharing the screen, Shadawai? Okay. Mishra ji, can we start now?
Yeah, definitely.
I think the screen is visible. Shadawai, if you can just operate it for some time.
Sure sir. I'm
Yeah,
ready.
yeah, okay. You can do the full screen and we can start the session now.
Okay sir.
So whatever the time is left, I will try to see whatever I can share through the screen. And see, the very first thing that is the AIF is Alternative Investment Fund. Yes, everybody is aware about it. And it is a distinct class which has already been regularized by SEBI, the State Securities and Exchange Board of India. Previous to that also, there were a lot of funds, but there was a lot of regulatory gaps. To plug these regulatory gaps, in 2012, the regulation was brought as SEBI AIF regulations. The next slide, please. Would be, yeah. So the AIF, particularly, if you will talk about what is AIF, AIF is a particular pool of investment. That's why it is called as private investment vehicle, that is pooled to sustain the collection of funds from investors. And there is always a reason why this is pooled. That reason is always documented in a policy, and all investments under AIF will be governed by that policy for which the investment was created and the scheme was filed with the SEBI for the approval. So that scheme will be carried out, and all the purpose of that policy will be carried out in course of time accordingly. So if you will say, what is alternative investment fund? Investment fund, that is a privately pooled investment, and also all the investments which are not covered by SEBI mutual funds or Security and Exchange Board of India collective investment schemes regulations or any other regulations of the board are not covered under the ambit of this, as well as the other funds, just like family trust funds, which have been set up only to benefit the relatives. They are also not called as a AIF. Then ESOP trust, which was already existing prior to AIF also. Employee welfare trusts or holding companies, which are defined under subsection 46 of section 2 of the Companies Act. They have been kept rather outside the ambit of AIF. Next slide, please.
मैं तो अलग अलग नहीं दे सकते.
So now coming to what is the structure in which AIF can be registered in India. See, any AIF can be registered as either a trust or a company or a limited liability partnership or a body corporate. Nextly. So basically, there are three categories of AIF. That is, one is category 1, second is category 2, and the category 3. So category 1, if we will talk, it is particularly for startup, early stage ventures or social ventures or SMEs or infrastructure. Even angel funds are also falling under the ambit of category 1, and which are socially or economically desirable. I mean, this which encourages the socially or economically desire, particularly targets also. Those type of funds are been classified under the category 1. Next slide, please. Now the the category 2 have been defined, which don't fall under the ambit of 1 and 3. And which does not take leverage or borrowing other than to meet day-to-day operation requirements as permitted in the SEBI, Alternative Investment Fund Regulation 2012. The more details are already incorporated under Regulation 34B, and we will be illustrating that how category 1, 2, 3 are also different from a slide, which will be taking to the next one. I think please take it to the next slide. I will take it to that slide also. Now, yes, category 3 employ diverse or complex trading strategies and may employ leverage. So the leverage have been classified, whatever AIF deals with the AIF, leverage, have been classified under category 3. Now, most of the traction which of late people have seen, the AIFs are registering more and more under category 3 type of AIF. So now if you will see to the next slide, please take it to the next slide. So it will give a better idea which are the funds falling under the category 1, category 2 or category 3. Category 1 will have venture capital funds, infrastructure funds, SME funds, social venture funds, or angel funds. Category 2 will be private equity, debt funds, and category 3 will be hedge funds and PIPE funds. I think all are aware about PIPE funds, that is private investment in public equity. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So this will give a broader idea. What is the corpus? Then what will be the minimum continuing interest of the sponsor or manager, maximum number of investors, which AIF can have, the maximum investment in a single investee company, statutory fee registration, close-ended or open-ended. If I will come to category 1, you will find a corpus will be 20 crores as the minimum amount. But there is an exception. If it is angel fund, even though it falls under the ambit of the category 1, but there the corpus will be 5 crores, which used to be 10 crores till June 2018. Now coming to what will be the interest of the sponsor or the manager. These two persons, the sponsor or managers, are very prominent persons for AIF, which have been statutorily mandated, so that their interest always remains in any of the AIF. So for AIF 1, they should have an interest of 2.5% of the total corpus, or rupees 5 crore, whichever is lower. Then the maximum number of investors can be 1,000, whereas for the angel funds, it will be maximum of 49 persons. The tenure will be 3 years, and these funds will be always close-ended. That will be a very important aspect, that once it is closed, it cannot be subsequently allocated to any other person. The maximum investment in a single investee company, this is 25% of the corpus. Now, there is a very important aspect why if create an AIF in IFSC. The normal AIF, there were limitations that you can invest up to a certain percent, say 10% or 15%, depending on the total number of AIF. Even prior to IFSC also, or even if you will see, other than IFSC, AIF, there are more than 750 AIF, which is already existing in India. And during the COVID also, number of AIF have increased in a multifold manner. But when it comes to AIF in IFSC, there are already 25 AIF which are working in IFSC, and almost 25 to 30 applications are still pending as on January 2022. Maybe the numbers have increased. Well, I'm talking about only the figures which I have from the public domain or the information from the IFSC to those numbers. Now the statutory fee also differs. This 5 lakhs is the statutory fee for the registration that goes to the SEBI. Then coming to the category 2. Category 2, again, you have 20 crores as a corpus. Then again, the involvement of sponsor or manager to be 2.5% the corpus, or 5 crores, whichever is lower. Then the maximum number, again, the 1,000, and the tenure will be the 3 years, 25% the corpus will be the maximum investment. Then statutory fee will be, again, here it is a 10 crores, sorry, 10 lakhs, and this will be again a close-ended. Now coming to the hot favorite category 3, there will be again 20 crores, and then 5% of the corpus or the 10% crore, whichever is lower, should be the minimum continuing interest of the manager or the sponsor of the AIF fund. There is a very big difference. And then you have again tenure of 3 years, but here it is for close-ended, it is 3 years. It can be also open-ended. For open-ended, the tenure can be also increased, but this fund is both open-ended as well as close-ended. And then the statutory fees or registration fee is 15 lakhs for category 3 registration. Please take it to the next slide. See, corpus is a very important terminology if we will talk about AIF. Corpus is something where the total number of or the total investment which is committed by the investors to AIF by way of a contract, that will be called as a corpus. And as I have shared previously, the corpus for angel fund shall be 5 crore. That is an exception. Please take it to the next slide. it will be dealing with the sponsor of AIF. So a sponsor is a person who set up the AIF and includes promoter in a case of a company and designated partner in case of a limited liability partnership. So if you will talk about who are the very important persons for any AIF, the one will be the sponsor and other will be the manager. The manager will be the person who will be taking care of all the investment and carrying out the whatever is the policy or whatever is the documented reason for which any AIF has been framed or any AIF scheme has been launched. The responsibility lies on the manager to ensure that everything is complied, and they carry the investment in terms of the documentation for which the scheme was floated. Please take it to the next one. And the AIF requisites, how you will apply for registration, what are the requirement of a registration. See, if I will talk about the AIF was particularly introduced in the 2012. Then in 2015, the SEBI came out with a lot of guidelines. And then 2018, again, they came out with a lot of the procedure as well as the guidelines to help the people to understand the nitty-gritty and how they can take it for the registration of the AIF. So the first thing will be MOA, Memorandum of Association, trust deed, partnership deed, as per the structure of an organization or the legal entity. In case of a trust deed will be should be registered in the Registration Act. Another one will be partnership firm. Again, the partnership deed should be registered. Please take the next slide. Then it will be limited liability partnership. The partner, particularly the partnership deed should be registered again under limited liability partnership. And then prohibition by MOA, trust deed, partnership deed for invitation from public to subscribe to its security. Take it to the next slide, please. Yeah. See, this is a very important catch here. Rather, I will say the very important aspect is you cannot call for a public investment. Rather, all the investments are through the private placement. You have to file an information memorandum with the SEBI, and the scheme, before the launching of the scheme, 30 days before, you have to file an information memorandum, and thereafter you can start. But you cannot approach any public to invest or subscribe to the security in any of the AIF. Yeah, next slide, please. The requisite again will be a manager dedicated to that, and the manager should have also experience to carry out, or they have worked in one of the AIF scheme. And you should have also infrastructure and the staff to carry out the responsibility. And SEBI also have a lot of regulatory powers to call for the records. They can carry the conduct, the review meeting also, and they can call for also audit report, which there is again a very big opportunity for the CF fraternity, as within 6 months of any scheme which is going on. I mean, the AIF fund which have been launched, every AIF is required to submit a report, audited report every 6 months. Though it can be also extended to 1 year, but there will be a requirement, unless it is extended, a 6-month audit period is there, and that report has to be submitted to the SEBI. So that can be an area where this chartered accountants can contribute to a great extent. And there are other also records also where chartered accountant can guide them to maintain the records in a proper manner. Now, the other thing is the investment purpose, investment method. So what sort of documents will be always maintained? As I shared, that SEBI people may come for the review, they can send it a notice to scrutiny all the documents. They will send a notice before coming to you. I mean, any AIF 10 days prior to that, and they will carry out the scrutiny of all the documents which will depict the investment purpose. So the purpose of investment for which that AIF was floated, then investment method, what method is being deployed, then planned corpus, what is the term, what is the target investors. Everything should be categorically documented and it should be available at any given point of time at the physical premises. Please take it to the next one. Then the validity of certificate of registration. See, every AIF has a tenure. So tenure will be, as I've shared in the previous slide, 3 years or as extended for the 3 years. That means the category 3. So it will be valid till the time AIF is wound up or the registration or you get it a winding at your own, even prior to the ending of any tenure of any AIF. Next slide. So the tenure of both the schemes, I mean the AIF category 1 and category 2, to be determined at the time of making the application itself. The calculation of tenure will be always the date of final closing of the scheme, when you have completed the scheme, and from there, the tenure will be counted. The next slide, please. See, the setting of a AIF in the gift city, again, the why people will come to the gift city and IFSC, I think in the previous sessions, a lot of things must have been aired, and that's why I'm not going to touch on those aspects. But I will tell that, okay, any application has to be made in the terms of AIF manager or sponsor, as these two are the responsible persons for any AIF. So the certificate has to be applied for those persons with the board, I mean SEBI. Second will be, you have to also apply for an NOC and a certificate of occupancy from the gift SEZ that you operate an office in the gift city. The next one. Then you have to also supply, after applying, the certificate of incorporation or LLP, whatever are the entity you are working with. Then appoint a trustee. There are particularly $70 million. If that is the corpus of your AIF, mostly it is in the category 3 of AIF, then you have to appoint a trustee also, and also a custodian. That is also a requirement. So this is the requirement, and there are a lot of other requirements which are really very much illustrated in the regulations. All are procedure in nature rather than having a legality involved. So the next, we have to also apply to the Development Commissioner, because it is ultimately an SEZ, a special economic zone, but it is in addition to the SEZ Act, the new act has been formulated, that is under the SEZ IFSC. So that works in a different domain, and they have their own set of rules, provisions, and they have been given a lot of powers of various regulatory bodies also. So this SEZ IFSC works with the power of almost 7 regulatory bodies of India. So that's why they are called as a single window SEZ. Now this, then you have to also obtain a permission from the SEBI as well as the RBI approval to run this AIF. Please, next slide, please. So the time is less, so I have to make hurry. So many times it can result in not taking it properly, explaining the slides. See, application form, this is the form which has already been prescribed under regulation. You have to fill the form, but please do take due care that whatever you are furnishing the details have to be very categorically mentioned, and it should be declared with a clean hand. Otherwise, any information, if given in a wrongful manner or something is hidden, because there are a lot of things which you have to disclose, right from your liabilities, litigation going on, even who is your manager, who will be the sponsor, their details, their particularly profile, everything has to be declared. If anything is found to be discriminatory or anything is concealed, they will reject it. And unfortunately, once rejected, they will hardly entertain your application for the second time. That we have gone through as a practical tip, we will share that one of the body for which we were working, they have disclosed every information, but what they did is a very bona fide declaration that some dispute was going on, it was not settled. There was nothing element of fraud, but they have not declared that particular ongoing dispute of arbitration, and due to that a concealment was alleged. Somehow we justified and all, so it was through. Otherwise these things if comes, then it will be liable to rejection, because SEBI conducts a review of the application form and they take it in a very meticulous manner. Next slide, please. So registration fee, as we shared, there are a lot of structure which you can find in the Schedule 5, Schedule B of the regulations also. And some of them we have already shared in the previous slide. So thereafter, you will be given an in principle registration. Next slide, please. So you have to again comply with a lot of other compliances, then you will be getting the proper registration to carry out the AIF. And then cover letter, what you are submitting, it should also illustrate everything. You should incorporate most of the relevant thing, and what is mandated under regulation, you have to show in the cover letter also. Next slide, please. Now again, the role of chartered accountant can be the reporting requirement to SEBI. As I shared, that they have to report also. And the audit will be also there. So in addition to the audit, there will be a quarterly also, wherein for the if category 1 or category 2, looking to the leverage or not leverage, you have, if you don't carry out the leverage, then you have to submit on the quarterly basis. But if you're carrying out the leverage activity, of course it is category 3, then you have to submit a report on monthly basis. Their handle advisory can be carried out by chartered accountant fraternity. Next one, please. Next slide. This I have already covered. This is the mail where this all reportings have to be done, and all are on a soft copy, not to be submitted. Sorry, not to be submitted in a hard copy. So this is, the days are already stipulated. Please to the next. Next slide, please. So these are the main benefits, the tax benefits and the exemption, then low cost to set up offshore funds in IFSC, because if you will set up an office outside India, there are a lot of other costs involved. And the purpose of setting up or allowing IFSC and particularly financial services was that there are a lot of companies which are carrying out their offshore working. So instead they can start here, and the costing will be also on the lower side, and a lot of manpower is also available. A trained manpower is already there in India. And various market, because a lot of insurance companies have also come, then financial service companies are already there. So a lot of companies and ecosystem is already created, and there are a lot of companies which will be coming. So this will give a leverage in India while working for AIF in IFSC, rather than going and setting up outside India. Next slide, please. Of course, there are gray areas. Some of them we have shared here, and you can find a lot of things also in the public domain. So next slide, please. One very important and gray area is there are route by which you can invest. There is FDI, FPI, but there are a lot of nitty-gritty connected with these route of investment. The clarity is still expected, and especially for the FEMA. Right. Now coming to this applicable laws, which are the applicable laws if you run a AIF and IFSC, the SEBI substantial acquisition of share and takeover regulatory regulation, then SEBI prohibition of insider trading is again applicable to AIF which is running in the IFSC. Money Laundering Act is again applicable. Companies Act is also applicable if you have registered your AIF as a company, or the company is going for registration, the Companies Act is still applicable. Next slide, please. FEMA, I have already shared. Yeah, please, next slide. Then the tax benefit, which chartered accountant fraternity is well aware about it, but then for sake of touching this, the category 1 and 2, the benefit of tax holiday is 100% provided under income tax for the first 10 years out of the 15 years of block. Then other thing is income arising received by non-resident investors from an offshore investor carried through category 1 or category 2 are not taxable in India. Next slide, please. The Passover concept is a very good concept, which is again available in AIF, provided that that fund is held for at least 12 months. Next slide, please. Then exemption from filing income tax return. You don't have to apply for the PAN. Yep, non-resident investors only. Yeah, please take it next slide. Then the category 3, the AIFs are governed by the trust taxable principle. That is again a very attractive thing, which is compelling the AIF to invest more, or to start or register in category 3. This is one of the reasons. Next, please. Then you have a lot of exemptions from stamp duty, security transaction tax, commodity transaction tax for the transaction carried out on IFSC code exchanges. Next slide, please. See, the winding up is again a very important aspect, that your tenure will be either prescribed as per the document, or if you want to go for a winding up, then it is already well taken under the regulation 29 LLP, what are the route, and then trust, how you can go forward, companies also for body corporate, and then 75% the voting or the benefit of the investor. There are a lot of factors associated with it. Yeah, way ahead. Next slide, please. There are a lot of things which relocation of AIF, that again an area where a lot of clarification is expected. Then next slide, please. Yeah, examination of relevance and adaptability of various capital companies, VCCs again, because there are a lot of things which are working in other areas, Singapore and London also, but things are still not in that way, which should come in IFSC and AIF in India also. So these are the things which I could share today, though I wanted to share a lot of things. I have already a commitment, and due to I'm already running short of time. So I have to conclude with this. Otherwise, we will share. What we will do is FAQ is already there. A very exhaustive FAQ is there. We will share with Mr. Dhariwal. We will share on the mail, and the slides also can be shared with everyone. And I'm sorry, I was also not keeping well, but because we have a commitment, so I have to come and say. So I tried my level best, but health and time, they don't allow me. So this is all what I have to share.
I think thank you so much, sir. I think it was a great session, and I'm sure the FAQ that you will send, we will circulate to all the participants.
Definitely.
I would request Mohilji to propose a vote of thanks, and then we can start the second session.
There is one question. Can we take up that question?
I'm
Yes,
sorry,
sir.
I have commitment. I'm already late. So definitely we will share the FAQ. It will cover almost everything.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Sir, it's without taking much of time, sir, it's great honor and privilege to have today, sir. And in spite of your time constraint, all these things, you have covered the exhaustive subject within the available time, and also provided valuable information on the topic. I also wish to show appreciation to the participants for their strength and patience. We have to go one more session.
Well, definitely, if any other question also, you can please share. We will address that also. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks. I will take.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for that.
Thank you, sir.
So I think we are starting with the last session of this series, and I think the one who has been responsible for all the coordination, along with Rajendra ji, CM Mayank Jain and his team would be taking the session. So welcome, Mayank ji, and I would request Rajendra ji to please introduce both the faculties. We can start the session immediately then.
Mayank Jain is a qualified CA and CS. He is currently working as CFO and head of HR in India INX. He is associated India INX since April 2017. He has previously worked at Tata Communication Limited and also BSE Limited. He has more than 10 years of experience. And now I'd like to introduce Mr. Ritesh Kumar. Mr. Ritesh Kumar is an MBA and a CS professional. He is currently working as a senior manager of business development team of India INX since Jan 2017. And he has previously worked at BSE Limited since 2008. We would love to hear from both these eminent faculties now.
Am I audible and is my presentation is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
Yes, sir.
Firstly, I would like to convey my sincere thanks to the Ahmedabad branch to give us the opportunity to bring awareness about the GIFT IFSC. At the same time, what are the opportunities for inbound and outbound investments through eligible investors at the GIFT IFSC platform. With this, I will start my presentations. Basically, just to give an idea what basically I would say GIFT City will be playing a very key role in order to propelling the Atmanirbhar Bharat in achieving the country's goal of US dollar $5 trillion economy. As international exchanges promotes investments and raising of capital, thereby contributes to the India's overall economic development and activity. So that's why the importance of the India INX will come into the play into the role is this during this seminar. So we just give you this about the brief overview of the India INX. Our India INX is inaugurated by Honorable Prime Minister on 9th of January and also commenced operation by Arjunji on January 16th. So these are just I will just covering in initial slides about what is India INX, and then after we'll move to the what are the value proposition and how you can connect to the India INX. The second session will be covered by my colleague Ritesh Kumar, which talks about the how you can do outbound investment through our fully owned subsidiary, that is India INX Global Access. So this basically, as I mentioned, this is inaugurated by Narendra Modi ji in January 2009-2017. And I would say this company is promoted by BSE as the first international exchange at GIFT IFSC, providing a complete ecosystem at in offering the multi-financial products at GIFT IFSC. I would say this is the only one exchange after the CME which offers the 22 hours of the continuous trading at GIFT IFSC for all the eligible participants and market participants. And we are basically competing with them globally level with the Singapore, Dubai, Europe, and other US markets. And all the trades which has happened in India INX platform will be clear and settled by the India ICC, that is a clearing corporation, which provides a clearing, settlement, and risk management services to the for those services. And also India ICC is recognized by the QCCP by the IFSC authority and as a TCCP, third country clearinghouse counterparty basically by ESMA and Bank of England. And this India INX and ICC are regulated by IFSC authority at GIFT IFSC by a unified regulator effective from the October 2020. So these are just a glimpse of what we are basically, I would say, first mover at in GIFT City in terms of the exchanges and the first mover to launch the debt product at GIFT IFSC, first mover for providing a trading window of 22 hours, ISO certified, and same time we have lastly done our live trading from the DR side also successfully from the DR side Hyderabad. And these are some of the synopsis of what market turnover we have done till now and what are the primary debt listing we have done it. We have done around USD 58.6 billion of MTN established and more than 49 billion of listed bonds. And we are basically operating business and operations proficiency of more than 22 hours. And also at the same time, we are basically our thought process more ahead on the regulatory thought process also. And we have a cutting edge technology which offers which are having a tier 3 data centers and functional DR and response time of 4 microseconds. These are our basically currently a shareholder structure currently, and since it is promoted by BSE, so now current structure of this now we are taking in strategic relationship with the ICICI Bank and SBI and other individual investors also, along with the other institutional investors. So when Narendra Modi ji, our Honorable Prime Minister, inaugurated this exchange, he has given two visions to us basically. First is basically we should be within 10 years from now, when he is inaugurated, we should be a price setter for some of the commodities at GIFT IFSC. Basically, just a second. My vision is that is we should be a price setter for at least a few largest traded instruments, which basically are commodities, currencies, and equities there, or any other financial products. And we should be a fundraising platform specifically from the companies based out of the Asia, Africa, Europe. Those entities from those regions should be able to raise funds from this countries through this IFSC exchanges basically. So considering that we have kept this two vision while we are launching this India Annex and also working on this on the last 5 years basically. I would say these are I think so tax advantages already covered by earlier sessions by Sandeep sir also and the Mehruz madam also. But just to give on touch upon the tax advantage with especially with respect to the no STT and CTD, wherein if you do any transaction through IFSC exchanges, there is no security transaction tax or no commodity transaction tax. At the same time, there is no capital gain tax also if it is traded by the non-resident eligible participant, which is allowed as per the regulator also. At the same time, income tax also. And also there is no stamp duty will be levied on the whatever the trades you have placed in the India Annex platform at IFSC exchanges. At the same time, also we have a no GST benefit is there, wherein no, since these services will be available to the investors, which is based out of the India, basically a non-resident or eligible foreign investors. So in that scenario, the services will comes under the purview of the Section 16 of the IGST Act. So the no GST will be applicable in that sense. I will be not covering the other tax benefit which is mentioned below. It will be applicable for the entities who are established at GIFT IFSC. Not specifically with the investor side, so I'm not covering at this point of time. So this is basically, I would say, Universal Exchange is offering the complete ecosystems, and we are offering the platform for the listing, trading. When I say listing, we are offering the platform around global security market and global deposit receipt also. And we also launched the REITs and InvITs products at our listing platform. In terms of secondary market or trading side, we are currently offering the derivative market which for equity, currency, and commodities. And these are the basically our posted. We have an arrangement with the Clearstream in order to settle the international securities also. And at the same time, we have an information service that tie up with Bloomberg and other vendors basically. And these are our Eurex T7 technology and other technology related partners like Tata Communications, the BSC Technologies, and the other BSO networks. So this is the value proposition. I would say why anybody should opt or eligible investor should opt the GIFT IFSC as their preferred destination when they want to trade at GIFT IFSC. When I say balanced portfolio, by this universal exchange, basically you will be able to have the access of the equity indexes and derivative market. And at the same time, there will be long duration will be available. You will be able to foreign equity also permitted to be listed sooner or later. Basically, foreign equity is also now allowed basically. Now we have a growing liquidity as any exchanges will require a liquidity in the market also. So we have around 4.9 as I said in the previous slide, a kind of in total turnover of total notional turnover more specifically. And we have a 50.6 around billions of them MTN listed. And we say when we come into competitive cost, basically there is no currency risk because transaction and settlement will be happen in USD. And I would say globally, USD will be most accepted currency when it compares to the other currency. And at the same time, there is a capital efficiency from a broker side. Because what has happened is there is a single segment across the asset class. What has happened in India, there is a different segment like a cash segment or other segments. You need to keep a different margin, different capital requirement. Here, this is not the problem. You have a capital efficiency. There is a single segment across the asset classes. There is an easy to onboard participant. All the currently registered FPIs and or basically in India, his grandfather will be able to do a trading or basically trade directly in the equity and the commodity of the India Annex. There is a eligible foreign investors also is there. There is a non-resident investors is there. When we say financial safeguard, we will be having a 2-time daily settlements. We will be so that's why the risk of the settlement will be minimized accordingly. And also we have a India ICC guarantees all the settlements, all the trades which is executed on the India Annex platform. And when we lastly come on the reliability and technology part, when I say reliability, we are having a good cutting edge technology also at the same time. At the same time, we have the third response times are 4 microseconds. And we will be providing a fair and equal co-location and market access when it comes to the reliability side. And when it comes to the technology, we are providing a 4 microsecond response times and a real-time data feed, transaction data feed for the eligible investors. And these are the some of the value proposition from a gift IFSC point of view, more specifically from a primary market. We have a dedicated green platform or most competitive listing fee, settlement of securities to the international CSDs basically. And these are the basically this slides gives you overview what are the balanced product portfolio we have in terms of derivative and debt securities, and we are available. Our pricing of the India Annex is also available on the Bloomberg tickers basically. So this basically a slide gives you perspective of how you can eligible participant can connect to the directly through a member of the exchange to India Annex basically. A member can be connected to the India Annex. There is a distinguish between the side of members by the regulatory side of the authority and eligibility side also. Indian broker can set up their subsidiary at GIFT IFSC through a subsidiary route. However, a foreign brokers are allowed by the IFSC authority through a branch route, so that they can start their operations at GIFT IFSC quickly and start trading at the IFSC exchanges. And market access, when I say for the eligible investors, they also permitted, IFSC authorities also permitted authorized persons. There is a eligibility criteria for that separately. And the another route is basically segregated nominee account provider. So these are the process or modes, I would say, through which any eligible investor can connect to the India Annex. So these are some of the entities who is currently listed. All the, I would say, Adani Group entities, Reliance Group or Reliance Industry recently has raised a foreign currency bonds outside India. They are listed on the, and Renew Power is also listed primarily at India Annex, and State Bank of India also at the same time, and SDFC. So these are some of the names of the issuers of the debt securities who are listed at India Annex platform. And this basically slide gives you an overview of what market share we are covering at GIFT IFSC. We are basically keeping a lead in terms of since we are we started our operations. We are maintaining more than 85% market share, and currently we are having a 94% market share. So again, this is the products. I would say, what is the objective of take this set up this GIFT IFSC? So logic is, as mentioned in the earlier session also by Barrows ma'am, there is a Percy Mystery report of 2007, which talks about why there is a need of IFSC for India. Earlier, there is a concept, there is a basically plan of designating Mumbai as a IFSC, but due to certain regulatory provisions, because IFSC concept is prescribed under the SEZ Act only. And the SEZ Act requires a land criteria basically. So that's why Gujarat win the race for it, and Gujarat GIFT City is classified as a first international GIFT IFSC, first international IFSC for the India, which representing India. So whatever we currently, our own product, that is a rupee derivative, is majorly traded outside India, like a Dubai, Singapore. So we are trying to bring those volumes to at GIFT IFSC. That is our primary objective of setting up this exchange at GIFT IFSC. So whatever is happening outside India, we should bring it down, at least for our own products. And the second is basically we can through GIFT IFSC, India will be positioning themselves at comparable with the other global IFSC, that is Singapore, Dubai, London, and other more eminent like Hong Kong, other global IFSCs. So that is the objective of setting up this GIFT IFSC. And this is again give a market snapshot what we have at GIFT IFSC. First, basically gives you more snapshot on the total turnover on a yearly basis, and in daily average turnover, which we are doing at a GIFT IFSC. And this basically, as I mentioned, we are competing with the Singapore exchange at a global level, and some of the products, that is basically our index product, India 50, vis-a-vis the SGX Nifty. And with respect to the gold, we are competing with the DGCX in terms of the Dubai. So with this, I will end my presentation with respect to the inbound investment through India's first international exchange. I hope I would request also at the same time to bring awareness about this India Annex to our CA fraternity. I would request now my colleague Ritesh Kumar to present us and give bring awareness about the outbound gateway to the global access market. Over to you, Ritesh.
Yeah, thanks, Mayank. Good evening to everyone. In next 10 to 15 minutes, I will cover how Indian can access global markets, or they can invest in global they can invest or trade on global exchanges. So during the presentation, if you have any query, any question, you can write down in the chat box. I will try to give reply during the presentation itself, and after the session we will have a question and answer session during which you can ask questions. So India Annex, before starting the product presentation, let me give you a brief introduction of that India Annex Global Access. India Annex Global Access is a 100% subsidiary of India International Exchange in Gift City, and basically a platform providing access of multiple international exchanges through multiple international brokers. Right. Next slide, please. Mike, next slide, please. Yes. So through India Annex Global Access, entities can access more than 135 exchanges across 33 countries, and um, uh, for resident and the product will be enabled. Basically, all products across all 135 exchanges are available on India Annex GA platform, but product will be enabled based on the jurisdiction of the client. Mayank, you can minimize this, because there is an auto. Right. Yes, that is good. Yes, now it's okay. So I was talking about we are offering all product across all exchanges, all major global exchanges, but product will be enabled based on the jurisdiction of the clients. Suppose a resident Indian client onboarded on our platform, so only equity, mutual fund, ETFs, equity ETFs, and equity and bonds will be enabled for resident Indian clients as permitted under LRS. In LRS, right, you just hold this slide, you don't do anything else. Right. So in LRS, individuals can invest up to Indian individuals can invest up to $2.5 lakh per annum in global markets. So RBI permit only in LRS, RBI permit only equity, ETF, bond, and mutual fund. And this limit is available for individuals only, not for corporates. So if any corporate or a company wish to trade or invest in global markets, they can set up a subsidiary in Gift City, and they can be a member of India Annex, and through India Annex Global Access, they can trade in global markets. Before Gift IFSC, the BSE brokers or members used to set up their subsidiary in Dubai or Singapore for trading or doing arbitrage across globe in across various exchanges in international markets. But after Gift IFSC, they need not to go to Dubai or Singapore. They can any Indian company can set up a subsidiary in Gift City and can take a membership of India Annex and can start access of global markets through India Annex Global Access. So on India Annex Global Access, our members, the members of India Annex Global Access, can onboard resident Indian clients, corporates, and non-resident clients as well. So the contracts, as I told you, contracts will be enabled based on the jurisdiction of the clients. If a client is onboarded from Dubai or Singapore, for a Dubai resident, Dubai government allow them to trade all contracts. So all contracts will be enabled, including derivatives also. Right. Next slide, Mike. So as I told you, we are offering more than 135 exchanges across 33 various countries. Next slide. So in US market, there is a concept of fraction of shares. Like in India, you can buy, sell. Okay. In India, lots of disturbance because of this video, right? So previous slide, Mayank. Bas, you just don't do
रितेश,
anything.
एक मिनट हाँ, वो वीडियो शायद बरोबर नहीं दिख रहा है, तो मेरे को कुछ कमेंट आया था.
No, it's okay. Now it's visible.
Visible ना? Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
You just keep it. Okay. In US markets, there is a concept of called fraction of shares. Like client can buy, for example, a Netflix is getting traded at $500 per share. A client can buy a Netflix of even $1. So $1, $2, $10, $100. So that is fraction of shares. Suppose a Netflix is trading at $500 per share. If a client is buying a Netflix of say $50, they will get 0.1 share in their demat account. So this concept is there only in US, not in other countries. And our platform support that buying and selling of fraction of shares also. Next, please. Next slide, please.
Yes, sir.
We are also providing more than 80 diversified portfolios, are global, managed by renowned global portfolio managers, in which a client can opt to invest. Next slide, please. So these are some value proposition of that India Annex Global Access. First, it is a regulated entity, so it's a subsidiary of exchange, and the IFSC authority is a regulator. Second, cost advantage. Basically, for members need not to go to the multiple international brokers for access of global markets. Usually, these brokers, the international brokers, charge some minimum fee. However, in case of India Annex Global Access, they can access multiple markets without any fixed cost. So there is no fixed cost for members as well as for clients. So there is no fixed charges, there is no annual charges, there is no software charges for members as well as for clients. So third is a product advantage. As of now, in India, few entities are offering US equities. However, in case of INXGA, we are offering global equities, multiple product across the globe, and also the diversified portfolio, the renowned portfolio managers. One more facility that India NXGA is providing that is not provided by other market participant is the stock lending facility by the other participant in India is the stock lending facility. So in India, if basically that stock lending is very much popular in US because you can in India you cannot sell the shares and can hold your sold position. Like if you want to short, you need to take exposure in derivatives. Then you can hold your short position only in derivatives in India. However, in US, you can hold your short position in cash equity also. Like you can sell the shares and you can continue with your position. So you can borrow the shares and you can give delivery of those shares and you can hold your sold position. So that is very much popular in US. That's why this stock lending facility is very much popular. And through India NXGA, client can earn income on their portfolio also by lending the stocks. Six, that India NXGA is providing a complete digital experience without any paperwork. Client can open account, can transfer fund, remit fund, and can trade in international markets. So remittance, the cost of remittance again is a big hurdle or a big problem while investing in global markets, because banks are charging very heavy fee on remittance. So for example, most of the banks are charging 500 to 1000 rupee as a fixed cost. So if you are making a transfer remitting fund of 1 lakh rupee, they will charge 1000. Even if you are transferring or remitting 10,000 rupee, they will charge 1000 fixed. Apart from that fixed cost, banks are charging a spread. Suppose USD INR rate is 75 on screen that you can check on exchange screen. Then usually banks offer the USD INR rate approximately 1.5 rupee higher than the current rate. So if you are going to buy the dollar, they will offer you 76.50. If you are going to sell, they will offer a rate of 73.50. So 1.5 rupee, that there is a spread, bank are charging a spread of 1.5 rupee on every transaction. So that 1.5 rupee on a 75 is 2%, right? So if any investor is remitting say 1 lakh rupee, so 2% he is paying a spread and 1,000 as a fixed cost. So cost of remittance to out of India is going to be a 3%. So that 1% is visible to the clients. The another 2% spread is not clearly visible because usually the client does not check the current USD INR rate, and they do not really realize that is 2% is being charged from them. So to bring down this cost, we started negotiating rates with banks. So with our partner banks, our partner banks will not charge more than 200 rupee as a fixed cost, and the spread of not more than 50 paisa. So if the current USD INR rate is 75, they will not offer USD INR above on a rate above 75.50. So the list of partner bank is available on India XGA website also. So we signed agreement with Kotak Bank, we signed agreement with ICICI Bank, we signed agreement with IndusInd Bank, and that signing of that process is in process with SDFC Bank. So we try to cover some major banks who at least 60-70% of the clients, Indian clients, to bring down the cost for them. So that is an additional advantage with India XGA. Client can transfer or remit fund from their existing bank account at lower cost for investing in global markets. Next slide, please. Right. So we are providing a single integrated terminal. Through a single integrated terminal, client can trade all contracts, whether it's stocks or whether it's mutual fund or ETF, and across all 35 exchanges. You doesn't need a separate terminal for each exchange. All 135 exchanges are enabled in a single integrated terminal. Next. Fundamental data of all 30,000 companies are available in the trading terminal itself. So all basics like company profile, key ratios, dividend, impact, financial, next slide, even analyst rating is there. So client can check how much analysts, what is the view of analysts of that on that particular company, how much are in last 3 months, how many of them told to buy, how many of them told to sell, or how many of them told to hold. Even client can check the performance of individual analysts who are giving recommendation, what is the accuracy ratio of those analysts. So fundamental data of all 30,000 companies, global companies, and the tool for technical analysis are also there in our trading terminal. So client can do a fundamental research or a technical research at your end. Next slide. Apart from that, this fundamental, so client can check what is happening inside the company. Also, client can check what is happening across the globe. Live access of Bloomberg TV is there in trading terminal itself. Live access of that definitive data and some market news are there in trading terminal itself. Client can check what is happening across the globe, which sectors are going up, which sectors are going down. Next slide. They can run various scanners, right? Top gainer, top loser, and various scanners, country-wise, region-wise, or worldwide. So this terminal provides sufficient data to do all kind of research for investors before taking exposure in any equity or in any product. So we next slide, please. We did tie up with various training. Next slide. We did tie up with various training institutes. Yeah, next slide. We did tie up with various training institutes also for a free course on global investing, because as of now, as on today, that exposure is getting increased day by day. In last 2 years, through mutual fund, Indian retail clients have invested around 20,000 crore rupees in global markets. So total inflow in global equity fund of various mutual fund was around 20,000 crore in last 2 years, right? And many clients are opening that global equity accounts also for direct exposure, right? So for on every front, we tried to bring down the cost, because as on today, when client invest in a global equity fund of any mutual fund, so usually mutual funds are charging annual cost of 1.5% to 2%, usually 1 to 2% they are charging fees. However, at IndiaNX, we are providing portfolio at a cost of approximately more than 50 portfolios with different themes are available at a cost of 0.5%. So the client are going to save directly going to save approximately 1% if they wish to invest in diversified global portfolios. We registered ourselves with SIPC. Also, IndiaNX Global Access is registered with SIPC, and each client is insured by USD $5 lakh, right? Next slide. So these are some edges over competition. Like, it's a regulated entity offering global markets, negotiating rates with banks for lower remittance fee, and tying up with various training institute for on global investing. As I told you, the exposure of Indian clients are getting increased day by day. So we tied up with various training institute for a free course on global investing, covering various aspects, including taxation and part. So anyone can enroll for these courses. These courses will be available probably next week. We are going live with our first course with Quant Institute, that is Quant Institute, and that course will cover the various aspects. Like, if anyone want to invest in ETF, so ETF is the most cheapest way to invest in global market or taking exposure in global market. But probably if I will ask you to give me the name of top three ETF, probably you will not be able to answer the question. So this course will cover the top 5 ETFs, the benefits, the various pro and cons of investing in various options, like taking direct exposure, investing through ETFs, investing through portfolio management services, or investing through mutual fund of fund. What are the cost of each? What are the pro and cons of each? And what are the top 5 ETFs in US? What are the top 5 bonds in US in which they can take exposure? What will be the implications? What will be the tax implications? So this course will cover various aspects. And for this course, anyone can register free of cost through IndiaNX Global Access website. And this course will be available in next 5 to 10 days. So we are trying to empower investors with education so that they can take right decision for themselves. So here I will complete my presentation, and thank you very much for giving your valuable time. Now we can take questions. As I told you, you can type in chat box, or you can ask me by unmuting yourself up too. Thank you very much.
We will ask participants to type in the chat box for clarity.
There is one question in chat box, whether resident investors can invest in AIF for amount higher than LRS limits, right? So LRS does not permit you to take exposure in derivatives. In LRS, only equity exposure in equity is allowed. So if you want to invest in AIF, you can invest in Indian AIF, not in GIFT City AIF. Because when you will go when you will opt AIF in GIFT City, you can remit fund through LRS only, and LRS does not allow any Indian investors to invest in derivative or to trade in derivative products. That is why when you will onboard on IndiaNX GA platform, any Indian client will get onboard IndiaNX GA platform, we will enable only those products which are permitted under LRS on our platform, right? So any more question, I will be happy to answer. Resident investors can invest directly in IndiaNX. Resident investors can invest in global markets directly. They can buy shares of Google, Facebook, Apple, or the shares are listed on London Stock Exchange, Hong Kong Stock Exchange, or in Russia, day before yesterday down by 50%. So Indian investors can take direct exposure in global markets through India Annex Global Access, right? In GIFT City, we have two exchanges, that India Annex and NSE IFSC, but both of the exchanges are having derivative product. Now, Indian investors, when they will remit a fund under LRS, they cannot trade derivatives. So effectively, they cannot trade on India Annex and they cannot trade on NSE IFSC. But there is a new exchange in GIFT City, IIBX, Indian Bullion Exchange. So on that Indian Bullion Exchange, clients can trade and can take exposure in gold, right? So this exchange came on a concept like we have Shanghai Gold Exchange in China. In China, when anyone want to import gold, they can import only through that Shanghai Gold Exchange. That is, direct import is not allowed. So gradually this will happen in India also, and till now only banks and some entities like MMTCs were allowed to import gold, but now some regulation came last month. Now jewelers, qualified jewelers can also import gold in India through Indian Bullion Exchange, right? So Indian investors can trade on IIBX or can invest in global markets by trading directly on international exchanges through India Annex Global Access. Are these specific brokerage houses which can allow individual investors to invest in India? More than 100 BSE brokers are a member of India Annex Global Access. So you can approach your existing broker with you have Demat and trading account for investing in global markets, or you can write down to us on our mail ID. There is contact us. There is a mail ID is given on our website itself, and for any query you can write down on our that vdm@indianxga.com or support@indianxga.com. You will get reply on those queries. What is the upfront documentation and transaction fee, say commitment amount for opening a demat? And there is one more question from Sandeep Khan, Mr. Sandeep Khan, CA Sandeep Khan. What is the upfront documentations and transaction fee, say commitment amount for opening a demat account with Indian Annex? What is the recurring cost for maintaining a demat account? If one makes only investment in global securities but is not involved in day-to-day trading. So as I told you earlier also, fixed cost is 0. So there is no account opening fee, there is no annual charges, there is no demat charges, there is no custody charges, there is no software charges. So fixed cost for the client is 0. You can buy the share of Google and can hold, and that is not going to cost you anything. Only brokerage is there. So brokerage is again will depend through which broker you are coming for, because as you can see in BSE, multiple various broker have a different brokerage plan. In the same way on India Annex GA also various brokers are having different brokerage plan. So you can approach your broker for that brokerage part, how much he is going to charge on buying and selling, but fixed cost is 0 for all clients, irrespective of the broker you are coming to Annex GA platform. So any more question, please? Is there any capital gain tax benefit for resident Indians who invest through India Annex? No, basically tax tax benefits are there for GIFT City entities. So if you are in India, you are a resident of India, so that tax benefits will not be applicable. The Indian rates will be applicable. So whatever the tax rates in India is there, that will be applicable on you if as a resident individual investors you will invest in global markets. However, in case of US, there is a tax treaty between US and India. So according to that you all guys are see, I think you know better.
Just to add on what Ritesh has mentioned, basically, I think so question is with respect to more specific on the India Annex platform. Only currently non-resident or category AIF certain category specific are allowed to have a capital gain exemptions. No, then other than that is allowed as for capital exemption.
Okay, we get some more question. One thing is like, is there any minimum amount which need to be capped in bank linked with Demat account held in India with India Annex? So let me tell you, there is 2 entities in GIFT City. One is India Annex, that is an exchange like NSE and VSE. And another entity is India Annex Global Access. So Global Access is providing access of other international exchanges, right? So India Annex Global Access is different from India Annex. Resident Indians can invest in global markets through India Annex Global Access, and they can transfer or remit funds from their existing bank account to our bank account with JP Morgan in US. So the amount will be converted. You will transfer in rupee like you do some simple net banking, and the amount will be converted from rupee to dollar. Right. So any more question, please?
I think we are through with the questions.
Thank you very much.
I will ask Chairman to speak something about the session.
Thank you, sir. It was wonderful as always, Mayank ji. Thank you so much, Ritesh ji. I think it is very apt to have ending with your session, because you are the one who coordinated along with Rajendra ji. So very happy to have you, in the last session. And I'm sure this entire series is a real value addition for all of us. A lot of new things we have learned. And thanks to Mayank ji, thanks to Rajendra ji, we could actually see this entire series. So thank you both of you. Since you both of you are here, I can thank you in person. And thanks to all the participants. I think this is one of the best series that we have done this year. Very new and innovative series. And I'm sure, I think as we discussed, we can also plan a physical visit to GIFT City somewhere soon. We can coordinate and also do that. I would request Rajendra ji and Mohil ji to please propose a vote of thanks. Thank you.
Mohit, can you
And
propose a
just
vote of
one
thanks?
humble request to all the attendees that tomorrow we have election at the Ahmedabad branch. So morning 8:30 to 8 o'clock to evening 6:30. Please do come and vote. Thank you so much.
Just before we move on to the next agenda, just to thank Hariji also for allow us the opportunity to take these initiatives by CA Institute of Ahmedabad branch to arranging
Thank you,
such
sir.
a series on the GIFT City. Everybody is arranging series, but such kind of a comprehensive series or informative series, I would say this will be the real one.
Thank
Actually,
you so
we
much, sir.
wanted
Thank
to
you.
give an overall view to the members regarding all the aspects that actually IFSC is built on and the vision of the government, as well as the persons who are behind it to promote the IFSC. So it was a real initiative by us, by me and Mayank and Hariji, to take it to the members, especially who can understand the business, and they can similarly propose the same to their overseas clients or to their resident investors, so that they can make the best use out of the IFSC Act, which has been separately carved out with the initiative of the present Prime Minister to compete with the other countries like Singapore, Dubai, and Hong Kong, and make India as one of the largest hubs for foreign currency and foreign dealings and transactions. So it was a sincere effort from our side to take it forward and see what we can do best.
Mohil ji, if you can propose a vote of thanks. Thank you.
Mohit, are you there?
Thank you so much. I think I like the comment of that Ahmedabad branch rocks. Thank you so much. I think it is great to hear that at the last session of your tenure. Thank you so much. If Mohil ji is not there, I would like to propose a vote of thanks. I think I will get this opportunity.
So nice.
Thank you, Rajendra ji. Thank you, Nakshi ji, just for your comment. On behalf of all the members, all the coordinators, all the faculty, I think I would like to thank, first of all the participants. I think it is because of your presence, because of your kind of enthusiasm that we organize these kind of series. When we started this series, I still remember we were thinking of a number of around 100 200 people to attend, but then we thought of why not have larger scale. We try to promote to so many groups, and we are very happy that we are closing at 550 plus registrations for this series. And any session you can see more than 300 350 people attending, and I'm sure others will also see the YouTube recordings of the sessions. As far as the recording is concerned, yes, we'll be sharing all these recordings maybe in the next week's time. Recordings will be shared. So yes, on behalf of everyone, thanks a lot for this wonderful initiative of Ahmedabad branch that you all joined. Mayank ji, thank you so much. And now, as discussed, we will also try to arrange a kind of a physical session a physical visit at the gift city soon with the members participating. And thank you, Rajendra ji, who has always been there for Ahmedabad branch and for taking this initiative. I think our first visit that really turned off this series. I think when we visited to the gift city, thank you so much for that. And members, if you have any questions or any doubts, you can still get back to us at Ahmedabad branch. You can send an email to us, and we will definitely make sure that we will get the concerned person response to your queries. So thank you so much once again, and thanks for joining. See you tomorrow for the voting. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mayank ji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Naga sir. Thank you.